Roppstar gang, what up? What up? Appreciate everyone in here. Welcome to the Roppstar Report, of course, as always, bringing you my thoughts really on the Carolina Panthers. Now, of course, I've let things marinate a little bit. I haven't, I haven't really been live since last Thursday with CJ. If you check that, show out, it was awesome. It was a great show. Shout out to CJ, the armchair GM himself, for having me on, and we got to stream it over here on my channel. So, yeah, I mean, it was good. It was a good show, a good preview for this. But today we're gonna just really be breaking down this preseason game. I thought it was a reality check for the Carolina Panthers in August. We opened up the preseason on Friday night at the Bank of America Stadium. We got getting handled 30-10. By the Cleveland Browns. It wasn't pretty. Like, there's some good, like, I'm not going to go into it. Like, I'm not really going to go that deep into it because it's really not that deep. All right. But, it wasn't encouraging because, like, one of the biggest questions I had on Friday night, ladies and gentlemen, was like, why is it that always in preseason games that, like, our backups seem worse than other teams? But that was my question. But again, watching the game, it was useful because preseason is where reality shows up without the sugarcoating sometimes. Yes, the scoreboard doesn't matter in August, but the tape always matters, right? So, let's just get straight to what I'm just going to give you my observations. I'm going to give you some stock ups, stock downs of players and stuff like that. I'm also going to give you my thoughts on Bryce's performance, and then that's what we are going to do. I'm going to share my screen real quick here. What's up, Sean? Appreciate you coming through, man. What's up, SC Panthers boy 803? What's up, man? Boy, you keep the fly hats, man. I got like too many hats. Panthers. Well, I don't have that many Panthers. I think I have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Might have 5. I don't know how many I got. I know I got plenty over there though. But let me go ahead and share my screen real quick. I'm gonna use ESPN tonight, and then I'll get on Twitter. I got some stuff I want to go over with on Twitter. I got like 20. That's not that many, right? I don't know, man. Hat giveaway. I mean, I still need to do a hat giveaway. Honestly, I still need to do a hat giveaway. We haven't done that yet. I promised you guys for 6,000 subscribers for the hat giveaway, and honestly, I need to do that. I haven't done it, and that's my fault. That is my fault, ladies and gentlemen. So anyways, I'm going to say this. First things first, I want to talk about a player in this game, and that is Corey Thornton in this game. I want to talk about Corey Thornton real quick. If you're looking for a player who is actually like seizing the opportunity here, Corey Thornton is it, ladies and gentlemen. You had JC Horn sidelined due to the whole accident, of course. Thornton stepped into that starting wall while he was out in this game, and he played like he wants to make the front office roster decisions uncomfortable. You know what I mean? He was physical, disciplined. He was willing to stick his nose in the run game. He's got traits that I just feel like are separating a training camp body from someone who can survive a regular season Sunday. And the corner depth has been one of those things that's been a quite concern for us Panthers fans. I know that I've been vocal about it on this channel, and Thornton is stacking up is stacking up a good tape. All right. And he's doing it at exactly the right time. And I feel like at this point, it's hard to see him not making the 53-man roster unless he just implodes in the next 2 weeks. Like, Poppin', what's good, my guy? What's good? Appreciate you coming through, Poppin'. So yeah, Thornton looked good, man. I'm happy to see that. Let's get, of course, to our first round pick. Let's talk about Tiedro McMillan real quick. I'm going to talk about him real quick. He looks like he belongs. First off, let's just go ahead and get that out of the way. He looks like he belongs. He wasted no time showing why Carolina drafted him. He hauled in that 30-yard catch off that back shoulder fade. It looked like a back shoulder fade pass, but it might have just been up the seam and just Bryce threw it off the back shoulder. I'm not too sure, to be honest with you. But, I mean, Cali connection, we're already seeing that. The chemistry's building. I think Tiedro McMillan started to come along. He started out having a rough, training camp, first couple days. Really kind of, it was like the first couple days he really was, trying to find his rhythm, I feel like. And now, the last couple days, really he started coming into his own, then in the game. So, he made a pro level play. Like, that wasn't just a rookie highlight. That was a pro level play. So, and then he followed up with catches that showcased his size, his route running, his willingness to work the middle of the field, which is huge because we all know what Bryce Young loves to do. He loves to throw over the middle of the field, right? Now, the only blemish I'll have to say about him was a miscommunication with Young in the red zone. But I think that was more on Tiedro McMillan because Bryce anticipated throwing it there immediately. Bryce had that. I'll say this: the anticipation by Bryce Young on that play. If you go watch the tape, he was already knew where the ball was going before the play even happened. And I think on Tiedro's side, he was surprised. He wasn't sure. So again, that could have been a huge statement by him. That's the only blemish I give on Bryce or on Tiedro because it was a little bit of miscommunication with Bryce. But I'll be real. T-Mac looks like the type of receiver who will get those opportunities early and often. We know that. And if this is his floor, I think his ceiling is going to make us fans and everybody else forget about some of the recent wide receiver draft misses we've had, right? So other than that, great. So Dougie Fresh was good, man. Great live over there, by the way. If y'all haven't gone check it out, Doug was just live. He was over there with Gabe McDonald, I think is his name, correct? Gabe McDonald. He's part of the Queen City News. So shout out to Doug, getting those beat writers and reporters over there. So shout out to him. Go check it out if you haven't already. I got to see what kind of leader Tre'von is going to be. We'll talk more about Tre'von. Corey Thornton will definitely be a Panther if plays like that in the next 2 games. Yeah. The only way he's not making this roster game is, like I said, if he just absolutely implodes. The fine timing issue. It was just a miscommunication. Like, Bryce anticipated the throw. Like, it was an elite anticipation of his going through his progressions on that red zone. He knew where the ball was going, and he knew that somehow he knew Tet was going to be there. But I guess Tet was unsure if the ball was going there. I mean, that's the only thing I could come up with, right? It was just a mistiming, miscommunication. That's all it is. But he's going to get a lot more of those looks. And so, that's the only blemish. And other than that, everything else was good. Yeah, and it's just them continue to build that chemistry, and they're going to continue to build it over time, and that's why we've got two more weeks of preseason. So we got plenty of time. I meant that more so. Yeah, exactly. Hatred. Exactly. No, you're right. No, you okay. Got you. No worries. No worries. No worries. All right, let's move on. Let's talk about the other wide receiver that is just making a name for himself. Let's talk about the cokeheads here. All right. How many cokeheads are in the chat? How many cokeheads are in the chat? Like, and I'm just, that's what everybody's called. All right, with Jaylen Coker, obviously. Jaylen Coker might end up being the wide receiver 2 no one expected. That might be a hot take because again, I've came out and said that I think Jesus. Calling me at the worst time. All right, sorry, I was lagging there. Yeah, I'm buffering. I saw that. You froze up on my side. Yep, I did. It's storming here, so it's probably my internet connection because it is storming where I'm at. So, anyways, let me get back to what I was saying. So, Jaylen Coker might be the wide receiver 2. Again, I think nobody expected. Okay. Again, he is because I thought Xavier Legette's going to be wide. Like we know, like Xavier Legette's going to be the wide receiver 2. Like everybody expects that to be. But Jaylen Coker, even though only had 2 catches, 17 yards, but he had a touchdown. And that might not sound like a guy who should be a wide receiver 2. But in this offense where the bar for reliable outside receiver is lower than the league average, it's a start. I think Coker's touchdown came on a broken play where Bryce basically was directing traffic on that play. He made the adjustment while Young's scrambling. And that's a skill that often separates role players from trusted targets. So, again, Xavier Legette doesn't start. Obviously, he got in a fight. It is what it is. I mean, Xavier Legette's got some hands, though, ladies and gentlemen. If you've seen in the clip, the man's got hands. All right, can't deny him of that. But if Xavier Legette is one that does not live up to being what I think he should be, and my expectations of Xavier Legette in his second year, Coker is a guy that can be steady, and he's got great production. I think could earn him a big slice of that offensive pie for sure. For sure. So I'm just saying. Make sure you guys pound that like button, hit that subscribe button on your way in, on your way out. All right. Let's talk about the rookie pass rushers. All right. Let's talk about first things first. Where is Mr. Princely? So Princely, 2 tackles, 1 solo, 1 assisted. Okay. Nick Scorton, actually, I'll start with Nick Scorton first. Let me go to Nick Scorton. So Nick Scorton notched a sack, number 1. He was consistently beating his man if you watch this tape, especially in pass protection. He played with that kind of relentless motor that we've seen in his tape at Texas A&M. And that was one of my takeaways, is that this is a guy that has a relentless motor. And he showed it. Even on that one play against he kept chasing Shedeur Sanders. from one side of the field to the other. So that kind of relentless motor, that's what gets the coaches circle your name in the film room, right? And even, he like just that play with Shedeur Sanders, it wasn't easy. But to see him beating his man in pass protection, him with that relentless motor, it's everything that I expected out of him coming out of Texas A&M. Again, I had a first-round grade on this guy. He can bend the edge. I think Nick Scorton is going to be, but I've also been that guy who believes in Princely to be more of the sack go-getter, whereas Nick Scorton's more of the guy who's going to be the more of, it's not that he won't have great production, it's that he's going to be more of that disruptor than whereas Princely I see being the sack guy. But again, that could change, right? I don't know. I see Princely more as a Josh Sweat, whereas I feel like Nick Scorton is like, I'm trying to think of a good comp for Scorton. And I'm just thinking of pass rushers. Like, just thinking of a pass rusher in mind. Like, I see Princely. When I watch Princely's tape, I do see a lot of Josh Sweat. When I see Nick Scorton, I'm just trying to think of a good comp to give him if I'm going to give him a comp. I would say, but I mean, like, I was comparing the two where I could see like Nick Scorton, and I'll put it this way. How about this? I could see Nick Scorton being Brian Burns and Princely being Hassan Reddick when we had those two together. That's just kind of my mind, right? Where Nick Scorton, even though Brian Burns, yeah, I mean, Charles Johnson's a good one. Rock Jones, I guess. I don't remember Charles Johnson. Good Lord. Hold on. You're going back. I feel like. I don't remember Charles. Let me see. Yeah, Charles Johnson, yeah, kind of. You're going back for me, though. Nice pull, though, Rock. Nice pull on that one. Charles Johnson. God, I haven't heard that name in years. But that's a good pull. That's a good pull. I can see Charles Johnson, too, Rock. Like, that's what I'm saying. Like, but that's what I would compare the two guys to. Like, Nick Scorton's Brian Burns, where I can see Princely end up being Hassan Reddick. I just feel like the way Princely, comes off the edge, he's got an elite bend, man. Even though I had Scorton higher graded than Princely, even though I like Princely's tape, I just feel like Scorton, he's got the power. I think it's the power versus the speed. You know what I mean? But Princely's also been showing more in training camp for me than Nick Scorton has, obviously be due to the injury. But then Nick Scorton came into this game and showed more for me in this game than Princely did, because I'll say this. I felt like Princely in this game. Oops, sorry. I clicked on the wrong guy here. Hold on. Where's he at? I feel like Princely, though, for me in this game, I mean, I kind of felt like we expected this, but not really. Like, he's got an explosive first step. That's one thing that I know about Princely. Okay. Good pursuit angles, quick recognition in the run game, So the rookies, both of those guys seem so consistent. That's going to be the question. Can they continue to be consistent? Can we see some more production out of them? Obviously. They both have raw tools, and we saw them on display on Friday night. Again, it's just comes down to consistency and efficiency, and these guys, getting off the edge and attacking. So what's up, Chance? I haven't seen you in here in a while. Appreciate you coming through. B. Amos, what's good, man? I can see Charles, too. Charles Johnson was a nice pull by Rock, by the way. Great pull. Rock knows ball. I'll give Rock that. Rock knows ball. Again, like this wasn't wasn't a moral victory, you know. We were outplayed. It's like the question that I have in that preseason game though is just like we just had a lot of guys drop the ball in this game. There was also guys, whose stock is going up, and there's guys that stock are going down. I mean, I know that the preseason isn't about the scoreboard. It's about identifying who can help you win the games when it counts, right? When it matters. Like Thornton is one of those guys who's closing on a roster lock. I feel like McMillan is tracking like who's going to be an immediate contributor. He's tracking like that again right now. Coker is quietly climbing up that depth chart. I think that maybe it might have been different if Xavier Legette didn't get in that tussle, right? And again, I think the rookie pass rushers, again, they look like they belong. Again, I just want to see more. I want to see more consistency, right? I think the good news is that I can take away from this game is that they're building blocks here. There are building blocks here. I think the bad news is that there's still a long list of problems that better opponents will happily expose us when September starts. So we just got to get some kinks out the way, but you got to take the bad with the good, and you got to take the good with the bad. So it is what it is at the end of the day. What's up, Tampa Bay Caniac? So I'm assuming you're a Bucks fan, but you're a Hurricanes fan, or are you live in Tampa Bay and you're a Carolina fan? I'm not sure. We're trying to figure it out. You got Tampa Bay Caniac, but you got Sonic the Hedgehog with a Carolina Hurricanes jersey, which is kind of cool. Not gonna lie. All right, whose stock is up? I'm gonna tell you this right now. Based off this game, I'm gonna say this. The guys whose stock is up is definitely, first off, Tiedro McMillan. All right, his stock is going up because he's that shiny new toy that Carolina gets, right? And I don't feel that he needs to be perfect right now. And he wasn't, but he didn't look overwhelmed either out there. Right? He opened up in his opened up that game with that 30-yard pass from Bryce. It was a 50-50 ball. He won a 50-50 ball like it was 80-20 is what I'm getting at. You add a 13-yard catch. Should have had a touchdown. But his break was late, and he dropped it. Now, that was really what it came down to. There's a little bit of miscommunication. I think he was also a little bit surprised. So it was a rookie mistake. But again, the flashes are there. And he showed what the flashes showed what Carolina drafted him for, right? So his stock is going up, in my opinion. Oh, let's see what he said. Okay, no, I am born in North Carolina, but lived in Tampa Bay territory. Love both Panthers, Hurricanes, but I live in Tampa. So gotcha. Now I get it. That's cool though. Tampa is a nice place. I'm not gonna lie. Another stock is up again. I'm gonna say it again. And I know I'm going through these same guys with the stock up. I do have some other people I'm going to say stock up, stock down, but no, I'm kind of reiterating what I was saying earlier, my takeaways. But Jaylen Coker, man, again, his stock is up. Again, why I'm reiterating this is because he continues to show publicly why every NFL team that passed on him looks foolish. He scored the team's only touchdown of the night. I get it. Tight window, grabbing in the red zone. Bryce directing traffic. Great. Had a one-handed beauty with a defender draped on him. That one got erased by a penalty, of course. Okay. But the tape doesn't lie. He also hauled in 12-yarder in the 2-minute drill. So his roster spot is safe. His role might just end up just growing at this point. Again, another person's stock is up. And I'm going to say right again, I know I'm reiterating myself, but again, Nick Scorton's stock is up for sure. Like the rookie edge rusher has lived in the shadow of training camp because of Princely. Princely has been doing great in training camp. But I felt like in this game, Scorton flipped that script against Cleveland. He not again had 2 tackles, had a sack, showing he can create chaos without much help. This was a don't forget about me performance, I felt like, for him. And again, the sky's the limit with both of these edge rushers when that true first defense is out there, when Derek Brown is out there, right? So I think things could be different. And then again, Corey Thornton is another one for me. Again, I think his stock is rising. Again, ladies and gentlemen, I just got to find him wherever he's at. Where's he at? There he is. Yeah, and then you got to talk about a guy who was thrown into the deep end in this game, if you think about it, because of J.C. Horn being out. That's another thing. Like, Thornton handled himself like a veteran. Aside of giving up one of Shador's touchdowns, but that was a laser throw. More than a coverage breakdown. Like he played sticky man coverage. If you watch the tape, he wasn't afraid to get physical and run support. He added a pass breakup in this game. Again, he got 4 tackles. He had a tackle for a loss. So for an undrafted rookie, he's looking less like a camp body and more like a 53-man roster guy. Okay. Thomas Incomm. This is another guy that stock is going up, man. He tied the team. He tied for the team led with 5 tackles, plus 1 sack, contributed on special teams. Like, this guy is fighting for a roster spot. And I think he's also trying to audition himself maybe for some early season snaps we could possibly see. So I think his stock is up. All right. And then, of course, I'm going to give another guy his flowers in the kicking category. I'm going to give Ryan Fitzgerald. I get it that it was a garbage time 32-yarder. But after a rough week, like Fitzgerald needed a make to stay in the competition with Matthew Wright. He hit it. Barely keeps the kicking job battle alive, but I got to give him his stock is up right now. Now, my guys who are stock down, I'm going to be honest with you. I don't know if he's going to be in this. There he is. Yeah. I'm going to go ahead and say it. Nick Scott stock is down. I'm sorry. Okay. Don't want him here anyways. Didn't want to bring him back anyways. Because again, the NFL is what can you do for me on Sundays? And this guy can't do a damn thing on Sundays. Okay. He's 30 years old. He's washed. He needs to go ahead and just take him off the field, get him off the roster, find someone else to come in here. Right. This is a guy that found himself on the wrong end of one of the night's most avoidable mistakes. He muffed a punt, and that pinned rookie. It was Trevor Etienne with an uninvited blocker, Scott himself. So special team miscues don't often get forgotten in August, especially from players who are fighting for a depth spot who's supposed to be our starting free safety. I don't get it. Stock down. Everyone defending Nick Scott. Stop defending this guy. He's not good. He's not good. Again, it comes down to what have you done for me lately? What can you do for me on Sundays? And Nick Scott continues time and time again to do nothing. Nothing good. He does something, but it ain't good. I don't understand why we brought him back. It should be either Damani Richardson or Lathan Ransom at this point, starting at the free safety spot. Point blank, period. Point blank, period. Again, I appreciate everyone joining the live stream. Make sure you pound that like button, hit that subscribe button if you haven't already. We've got over 30 people. Ladies and gentlemen, we have over 30 people watching on YouTube. It would do me a great pleasure if 14 of you could pound that like button because it helps out the channel tremendously. And it's free. And it's free. So that's all I ask. Just a like. Just a like. That's all. I'm going to get to some of your comments. What's up, Roppstar? How you been? I've been good. Appreciate you coming through. Of course, Sanders has to have his first game, even though it's preseason. Of course, he has to look like a Pro Bowl to be in good Panthers. Always the Panthers. Hey, I got to give credit where credit's due, man. He looked good. He looks good. Also, guys, you know, there's 31 of you, only 17 likes, so 14 of you are slacking. But again, I do have a live goal. The live goal right now is 100 likes or more equals a giveaway. I'm going to be doing that all season long. So the more you guys like, you know, the more we can start doing, I can start doing more giveaways. All right. So make sure you pound that like button. Hit the subscribe button if you haven't already. Antonio McClellan, what's good, man? McClellanham. I think I'm pronouncing that correctly. I don't know. It just seems like fun to say right now. Seems fun to say. All right. And my other stock down. My last but not least stock down is going to be, unfortunately, I hate to do this, but I'm going to. And that is going to be, is he even in here? I don't even know if he's on this list. I'm going to have to just go to the depth chart then. My other stock down is Xavier Legette. I hate to say it because there are bad preseason moments, and then there's getting ejected in the first quarter for throwing punches when you're supposed to be fighting for a top 3 wide receiver role. If you want to fight for anything, fight for that. Like, Legette didn't get a single target before his early exit. I get it. It was very early. Preseason's about proving yourself, man. Not proving you've got a short fuse and good hands. Because, I mean, he's got good hands. If you watch his clip, he was dapping him up for sure. He was giving him a 2-piece McChicken. But, you know. But he'll be – I think Dave Canales needs to be giving a talking to Xavier Legette. He also needs to be giving a talking to a lot of these guys. Like, I get that the preseason's about separating potential from hype. I get all that. But sometimes, man, you know, there was just a lot of few things that was made clear to me about this. But you can't go out there and just have a loose fuse, especially not this time. Like, you're going into your second year. You really need to prove yourself more than, you know, what we're seeing with statistically from this point. But I'll give it to him. Clayton. T. Cole. Clayton is actually not my name. Clay is actually my middle name. You got it right. Nice. Clayton Bigsby. Hey, yo, T. Cole. Chill, bro. I'm ready to see what Jimmy Horn Jr. is going to do. Again, we got to see a little bit of Jimmy Horn. Only a little bit. We didn't get to see a lot of him. So that's why I haven't really said much. How about XL for punching a player with his helmet on? Lucky he didn't break his hand, right? I know. That's what I'm saying. Like, it's like, we can't be doing these things. Ready to see Renfrow as well. Yeah, I mean, his stock, I'll say this, with Renfrow being out, his stock is kind of the same. If he doesn't come back here soon, like starting tomorrow, because we do have, again, tomorrow, we have training camp tomorrow, training camp Tuesday, then we're off to Houston on Wednesday. So, you know, if Renfrow doesn't come back, I think his stock is going to start going down. Clayton Bigsby. That's awesome. Let the work you put in mean more to you, XL. I think he knows now. Yeah, for sure. Absolutely. Absolutely. All right. So, again, I want to go over a few things too. Shout out to Edgar. He is the Panthers analyst on Twitter. Okay. So the offensive bright spots were actually, these were the highest graded Panthers on offense for preseason game 1. You got Jaylen Coker, Jared Kingston, TJ Luther, Bryce Young, and Ike Ekwonu. I'll say this, from what I watched, and then what I actually watched this game twice. I'm not going to lie to you guys. I literally watched this game twice. Ike Ekwonu reminded everyone why he was a top 10 pick in this game. I thought he played well. I really did. I thought that in his 8 passing block reps, he didn't allow a single pressure, which is obviously good news. All right. I'll also say this from that standpoint with him. Shout out to the 15 people watching on Twitter, by the way. Shout out to you guys. He also bulldozed in the run game. So he did very well, earning a ridiculous 90.8 run blocking grade. Meaning he made life easier for running backs, which is rare praise in this offense. Again, I know he didn't go against Myles Garrett, but it is what it is. Bryce Young, I'm going to dive more into Bryce Young here shortly, but I'll just say this. He didn't play much. And I'll dive deeper into Bryce. But had an 85.1 grade. All I'm going to say is that he did what you want from a starting quarterback in preseason. Okay. And I'll dive more into that here shortly. All right. TJ Luther was productive, looked very crisp out there. Jared Kingston was steady in the trenches. So shout out to those guys. Now, of course, offensive play. There were some offensive players that weren't very good. Let's see. I'm trying to find the guys that were. Yeah, so this was the lowest grades on offense. I'll say this. Jack Plummer's stat line, I mean, we're talking about a guy who had a 60, 6 for 10, 79 yards. Looks fine until you watch the tape. Like, the ball placement is inconsistent again. Timing was late. Drive stalled. I think Xavier Legette should have been on this too, because I think he had like a 41.3, but I think that was because, of course, he made the headlines for the wrong reasons. Because of his non-contributions, because of getting injected, right? Michael Tarquin, sorry. Pass protection was outright disaster. If you go look up on PFF, I went and looked at it. They gave him a 0 in his pass blocking. So yes, a 0, because he allowed a sack on just 5 opportunities. I'll say Yash wasn't much better. He gave up 2 pressures, including a quarterback hit in a hurry. So it looked like a revolving door on the right-hand side. I'll be honest with you there. Now, from the defensive standpoint, again, Nick Squarton looked like a man who understood the assignment. You know, again, we saw the stats, generated 2 pressures, got a sack on just 8 pressure snaps, had two stops against the run. That's the maximum impact, especially when you have minimum time, right? Bobby Brown III, one of the teams, I think, obviously he was one of the splashy free agent signings, I felt like. He lived in the Cleveland's backfield, man. I mean, this guy had 5 pressures, and which was a game high in this game for us, and a badly needed sign of life, especially from a defensive front that we needed disruptors, not distributors, disruptors. Nick Tri-State, what's good, man? Hope all is well. This will be a great test for our offense against top 10 defense, pass rush, man coverage. Yep. Absolutely. Top 5 defense, excuse me. Yep. Broski Bear, happy Sunday. What's up, Broski? Still want those white or blue helmets. Yeah, I want the white ones. And I'm still trying to find me a white jersey. That's another thing, Rock. I've been waiting to get me a white jersey. I want a white one, but they don't sell them. I think they sell one. I think it's Bryce. I think that's the only white jersey I've seen selling. I think it's Bryce. So I still want a white jersey. Mike Reed, a second team nickel. Yeah. Oh, wrong cup. All right. Sam Roberts. Let's talk about Sam Roberts real quick. A guy who brought steady disruption inside. Tre'von Thomas and Corey Thornton. Tre'von Thomas had a nice game, man. Both played, him and Thornton played discipline, physically, something, not everyone on this defense can claim. So again, there's just guys that were standing out, and there was just guys that didn't, right? Like, I'm about to go to the next one from the PFF standpoint. Who is the defense disasters? Here they are. DJ Wanham, a 34.9. Turk Wharton, 32.8. Trevin Wallace, which they didn't put him on here, but he had a 32.3. John Radigan, 29.8. Bam Martin Scott, 29.6. And then they had Chris Barnes at a 41.6. But Trevin Wallace had a 32.3. That's the only one that's not on this list. Wanham was invisible. That's bad enough in the regular season, but in preseason, man, when you're often facing backups, it's almost impressive in the wrong way. As for Turk, another offseason acquisition. I went and looked at his grading, man. It's a 22.9 for tackle grade. I think Turk's going to, I know that this is preseason. I'm not going to read in too much to it. But again, Turk did miss some tackles that killed some drives. He also had more whiffs than hits. As for Bam Martin Scott, my boy, I was hoping that, you'd show out in this game to tell me, hey, you don't have to worry about this inside linebacker room. I got you. But 2 missed tackles, and he just looked overwhelmed. As for Wallace and John Radigan, weren't much better. Too many slow reads, too many arm tackles, just too few impacts. And honestly, that was the biggest thing that CJ said on the show the other day. When we were talking with CJ of the Armchair GM, if you know him, you see his show, make sure you go over there, like and subscribe. But he had me on, and one of his biggest things said tackling. And we had guys who dropped the ball, and here's your list. I know that we shouldn't read in too much of it, I'm not trying to read too much into it, but the facts are facts, ladies and gentlemen, because some players I feel like are in midseason form, and then there's others that look like they should be studying the playbook. They should have a technique manual and maybe a few anger management classes. I don't know. But preseason or not, this game gave, I think, Canales a clear idea of who's ready to help and who's just taking up space. And I'm going to be completely honest there. Are you worried about the defense, Roppstar? I'm worried about the second, third D, but we'll see. Panthers may have scored a lot. I'm not too worried about the first string. All right, the only thing I'm worried about at this point is, our second and third string. I mean, we've got to have guys step up. I mean, we're going up against other teams, secondary, second and third string. And, it's just like I said, I don't understand why every preseason we see, like, I'm not expecting them to go out there like how the Ravens do. Because, John Harbaugh, preseason, or not John. Yeah, John. Not John. Who's the other Harbaugh over there? It's not John Harbaugh. No, it is John Harbaugh, right? God, I'm getting the Harbaugh's brothers mixed up. Good Lord, I'm having a huge brain fart. Yeah, John Harbaugh, not Jim. John Harbaugh, he likes to go, he has this like preseason streak, right? But the question I asked myself, and I asked this actually on Twitter the other day when we were live, when I was not live, but I was just, by the way, if you're not following me on Twitter, I was like constantly tweeting about stuff. Okay. I was constantly tweeting about stuff. But there was a question I had to ask everybody on Twitter. And I'm going to find it. Where is it? Where is it? Where is it? Where is it? This is the question I had. Preseason or not, why do other teams' backups always seem to outplay ours? I think it's a legitimate question. Why is that? Oh, we're definitely in trouble at linebacker. What's up, Austrian NFL? Appreciate you coming through, my guy. Hope all is well. I don't know, man. I really don't know. Like we said, inside line diver, but yep, in safety room will hurt this defense this year. Cannot fix everything in one offseason, but this inside linebacker room is not going to cut it. Nick Scott needs to go now. He's trash. Yeah, exactly, Chef. And it's, again, I think I get it that we can't fix it in all one offseason, Chef. But again, it does make me wonder with Dan Morgan. Again, why wasn't there a plan B for guys like Shaq Thompson and Josie Jewell? Why wasn't there a contingency plan when you knew both of these guys' injuries, when you knew you were going to get rid of Shaq and you knew that you had a need to keep a close eye on Josie Jewell because since week 15 of last year, he was having concussion symptoms and he was continuing to have them all offseason. So why wasn't there a contingency plan for both of them? Why didn't you go after Julian Blackmon? You could have signed him for a 1 year, $5.5 million, but the Saints, who could end up being the worst team in the NFL, went and got him and signed him for a 1 year, $5.5 million. You had Jermaine Pratt right there, ready for the taking. They signed him for a 1 year, $6.6 million contract over there in Las Vegas. So make it make sense to me, ladies and gentlemen. Again, that's what gets me fired up, because you don't have a contingency plan for those types of things, and it did not make sense to me this offseason. So that's where I get fired up. Other than that, am I saying that this offseason was trash because of that? No, we had a great offseason, but there is some stuff in the back of my mind. I'm just like, why was there not, again, a contingency plan if we knew these things? That's all I'm saying. That'll get better with reps. Was live to ground in the Fan Fest. Their defense is always biting early. Risk versus reward. Yep. I have a question with the injury from Lewis. Corbett moves to left guard, Mays to center if Lewis is not ready. The problem is, too, though, you got Chandler Zavala out, Austrian, who's out with a shoulder injury, and I don't know how long he's going to be out for. So, yeah, you might have to move Corbett over there to left guard, but I don't know. They might probably move Brady Christensen there, actually, Austrian. It probably would make more sense that they move Brady Christensen to left guard, leave Icky on the outside, and then keep Corbett at center if that's the case, or unless Mays ends up taking, the starting center role. So we'll see. High Vibe says the Panthers coming in at 7-10. Andy, Blackshear, Demo, and Nick Scott can all go. I totally agree with you. The hot seat's going to be on Bryce. You could say the hot seat's going to be on Ejiro Evero too. Panthers offense can be much improved this season. However, they will be one of the worst defenses in the league. Hopefully not, broski. Again, I'm not going to take one preseason game to heart. Again, I know I got fired up about the whole Josie Jewell, Shaq Thompson, and not having a contingency plan, but again, that's one of the offseason moves I just questioned. But I don't think we'll be the worst, but again, I could be wrong, right? I mean, right now, there's not a lot of good signs besides, like I said, Corey Thornton and our rookie edge rushers. But again, there's still a lot of time left, right? We're not in September dealing with this, luckily enough. Thankfully enough, you can iron out the kinks now, but we'll see. We'll see. Enjoyed watching Thornton. It looks like a solid player. Bartholomew looked decent as well. Corner is not the biggest concern of the descent yet. Yep, absolutely. I agree. Legitimate question. It is a legitimate question, Doug. Are the Texans a tougher test? Yes. Offensively and defensively, yeah. Offensively and defensively. You got to go offensively with C.J. Stroud. You got Joe Mixon, Nick Chubb. You got Dalton Schultz. You got Nico Collins. You got they got Higgins over there. They got my boy who I wanted to draft if we didn't get T-Mac, if we didn't go, obviously, wide receiver. They got Jaden Higgins, and then he got their counterpart. Jalen Noel. They got him too. So their wide receiver room is stacked with talent. Not only that, I don't think Tank is back. I don't think Tank is back from that injury. Why Slow Turtle gotta go? Shy Tuttle's got to go too as well. Again, it's about what have you done for me lately? And again, that's another guy that hasn't done nothing. Definitely need to look at cuts for inside linebacker. Been a fan since the team was formed. Locked up, plan on that. Yeah, I know. The franchise is always one injury away from disaster. Always has been. It seems like it. Remember, Clay, free agents have to want to sign here too. I mean, I get it, man. I get it. But money talks. But I'm surprised that, I mean, again, a guy like Julian Blackmon, why would you want to go sign with the Saints when they are going to end up probably being the worst team in the NFL this year? Now, again, they could shock us, but again, when they don't have any idea who their quarterback's going to be, we'll see. We'll see. I was speaking about tackling issues. Yeah, tackling issues has been a big issue here. Big issue here. Just as much as, the wide receiver drops that we talk about. Nick Scorton looks solid. Hopefully Princely gets more looks. He will. Wanham was invisible, which has been his history. Very streaky player. Yeah. That's why he's been a rotational player his whole career. Whoever loses the center job, they want to keep Christian as Icky's backup. Yeah, but that's the thing with Christian. He's a swing tackle, so you can put him anywhere. So you could put him at left guard. If Lewis ain't ready, you've got to put him there. You're not going to tell me you're going to move Corbett over there. You're not going to tell me you're going to move Corbett over there. The guy who just tore his bicep last year? I don't think so. TJ don't want him. What is wrong with Andy Dalton? I was so mad at him. He should retire. Yeah, he should. He should. He looked out of sync, out of sorts. He should. I hear you, Clay. It's a building process. It's more than a 1-year fix. Oh, I know. It's going to probably take another year. I don't think he should though, T. Cole. Who are you talking about? Christian should play center, or are you talking about Corbett? I mean, I can see Christensen playing center too, but I like Roseboom. I like Roseboom too. My team is going through the same thing, except the Brenner's defense should be tough from the jump. Offense will need to develop. That's for sure, broski. Carter, right guard can go too. He looked bad. Jeff Kingston looks solid. He needs to be the backup right guard, left guard. Well, he played there last year, T. Cole, so I don't know if they would move him over. I mean, if I remember correctly, when I think Lewis went down or was out for one of the games, they put Christensen there. So, I don't think they would move Corbett over. They don't just because they use Christensen for a game. If Lewis is out, does not mean that Corbett still won't be Icky's backup. Christensen wouldn't be Icky's backup. I'm just saying, if I'm gonna move anybody to left guard, it's gonna be Brady Christensen. If Lewis is out, not Corbett. That's all I'm saying. Yeah, he's just out of sorts, man, and his old age is showing. I don't know if he would want. I don't know if he wants to leave Jim now after all that. Jim Harbaugh's got him playing like a different quarterback. He does. Rico looks smooth, man. He looks smooth, agile. He showed some power as well. But yeah. All right, let's talk about the elephant in the room, though. Let's talk about Bryce Young. Where is my Bryce video that I'm looking for? Oh, here it is. So, Bryce, I'm going to say this. I'm going to say this from a Bryce standpoint. I thought that Bryce, well, let's just say this. Bryce Young's finally back, first off, briefly. They didn't risk him. There was not a lot of exposure, barely snap in the live action. All right. That was last year. Last preseason, they treated him like a rookie quarterback. Okay. Like a porcelain doll. Like no risk, no exposure, barely a snap in live action last preseason. This year, now it's been a different story. Confidence in Young has skyrocketed inside the Panthers building. That trust translated into actual, preseason reps in front of a home crowd. So we all know that the stakes for Bryce Young in 2025 are massive, right? We're talking about year 3. That is the NFL's truth serum for quarterbacks. Okay. Either you become the guy or you start becoming someone else's backup, right? While this outing was a tiny sample size, it did carry some weight. I'll say this. In this game, I felt like he looked like he belonged. Like, forget the hesitant, overthinking version of Bryce Young we saw his rookie year, second year. This was a quarterback who carried himself like he owns the huddle this time. I could see it. There was just a difference in his body language alone was obvious. He was calm, deliberate presence. That says, I'm running this offense, not surviving it. So the confidence wasn't just a vibe for me. It showed that in his mechanics. I think Young's dropbacks had more rhythm in them. His ball placement had intent. He didn't look like a guy praying the play worked, right? He wasn't praying that the play would work. Like, he looked like a guy making it work, if that makes sense. Okay. Now, I'll tell you this. If you go back and watch the game, he's running the show pre-snap. See, in 2023, remember, Young looked pre-snap like someone was trying to do calculus while doing marching band. And that's what he looked like. So now he's diagnosing defenses. He's making the adjustments and protections. He's flipping plays without flinching. Like, that quick processing speed that made him the first overall pick hasn't disappeared. It's just now he's finally operating in a system that works for him to do that he understands. Does that make sense? Like, the comfort of this offense that Canales is running, you can tell he's no longer reaching late. He's dictating dictating the terms. That's a quarterback's most underrated weapon. Okay. I thought also with the pocket presence. Okay. I feel like we can't, it didn't seem like he was his old rookie self or last year's self. I get it's only preseason. Yes, the Browns rested key starters. I get that. But even against a watered down pass rush, you can see the difference in Young's poise. Again, it's the body language for me in this game. He wasn't bailing from clean pockets. His feet were more calm. He trusted his protection. That's a far cry from what the run for your life habits he developed the last couple, his rookie season, right? That his rookie season, we knew how leaky that offensive line was. But his chemistry with the backs was crisp. I think the timed routes were there. I think for the first time in a while, the pocket didn't look like a minefield for him. That matters regardless of who your opponent is. Okay. So I'm going to say this. I felt like for Bryce, I feel like for Bryce in this game, yeah, even though his night was short, it was efficient. Well-placed deep ball to rookie Tiedro McMillan. Let me see if I can find that clip real quick. Let's see if we can find that real quick. Because I know I have it somewhere. Let's see. That's Andy Dalton. Here it is. That was just filthy. Watch that again. Little perfect. Boop. But again, that's a nice deep ball. That's a 30-yard ball. Clean touchdown drive. Most importantly, no mistakes. Like, this is what you want to see from a starting quarterback. You want to build the momentum now. You want to avoid the injuries. Leave the field with the crowd nodding in approval. That's what you're looking for. The plan is likely the same for the next game. I think get him a series or two, maybe three, because it sounded like Canales did mention, I remember him in his press conference saying 3. And then hand it over to the backups, right? But we are a franchise who is starving for proof that better days are ahead. This was the reassurance start. Like, I know this was a small sample size for Bryce Young, but it did show big changes. It showed a confidence. It showed a control. It showed a comfort. In some ways, we haven't seen this really from him since his Alabama days. So if this is the version of Young carries into the regular season, the Panthers might finally get a quarterback that they thought they were drafting. And then that could mean even more. You know? So I'm going to get a couple of your comments here. T. Cole, I do. Corbett, here's the thing. T. Cole, Corbett, as of right now, after how many injuries he has had, he needs to be a rotational guy. He needs to be behind Christensen and Cade Mays. Honestly, Mays should start at center because Bryce and him were building chemistry last season when Corbett was out. And also, Brandon Christensen's a better guard than Corbett is anyways. And Corbett played right guard, not left guard, right guard. Christensen's a swing tackle. He played left guard. He's a better fit there anyways. Corbett went from right guard to center, not left guard. He played guard, but again, when you go from right guard to left guard, your feet do basically a total 360 or 180, and so does the playbook. So that's why I have to disagree. Corbett should sit out. He's injury prone. I'd rather have Cade Mays out there, who I know I can rely on, who's healthy, who's not coming off an injury, and so is Christensen, who's healthy, is not coming off an injury. That's my true assessment on that. So, Evero will be fired after this year. It might happen, man. If he doesn't make the correct adjustments and this 3-4 defense ends up shitting the bed, he might. He might. I wouldn't be surprised. I think he's on the hot seat. I think he's more on the hot seat than Bryce Young is. That's just me personally. Josiah, he has no more excuses. I'm going to say that. What question did I miss from you? I think this was it, Austrian. I think this is the one you're saying I missed. Do you think we'll make a trade for defensive players? I don't know. I doubt it. I hope so. I would love that. I would love to make some moves, but I doubt it. I mean, they're probably going to hit the waiver wire hard. They're going to hit the waiver wire hard on for the inside linebacker, and I think they'll hit the waiver wire hard for the safety, if anything. But making a trade, I doubt it, unless there's one that makes sense out there, unless they've got some feelers out there somewhere. But I doubt it. Chef says, I put Coker as number 2 wide receiver. Let XL and elder statesman Thielen, Renfro, all split time in the slot. XL's best route is the slant. T-Mac looked great. Oblique, limited snaps. Limited reps worth the pick. Yeah. It's a good assessment. I mean, I don't mind that, Chef 85. That's a good assessment. I don't disagree with it. Because I don't have David Moore on this roster in the wide receiver room. I don't. They if anybody's making this, I still don't see David Moore. I've said it before and I say it again. T-Mac, XL, Coker, Thielen, Renfro, Jimmy Horn Jr. That's my 6. They're not keeping 7 wide receivers. And if anybody thinks they are, no team in the NFL has ever kept 7 wide receivers, nor has Carolina in any of their years. So just go ahead and get that 7 wide receivers out of your head. It does have a lot to do with Bryce himself maturing, learning. I still think the Panthers had a very solid coaching staff his rookie season. Too many egos, broski. They had a solid one, but it was too many egos. Too many voices in his head like Randy Orton. J.C. Horn, Thornton, CSW, Mike Jack. I'm good with that. Yeah. Bartholomew, backing him up. We missing anybody else in that there, Josiah? Maybe MJ Devonshire makes it? Who knows? I don't know. I think Caleb Evans is the guy who's out right now in that corner room. I just don't see him making it. He's not doing anything. Not bad for his first catch. No, not at all. I mean, it was a 50. I mean, Palmetto Panther for a 50-50 ball, it ended up looking like an 80-20 for him. Broski, but the team was just so buns. Yeah. I hear you. I thought it was too much for Bryce's. Oh, yeah. I mean, the offensive line was Swiss cheese, man. Talk about 63 sacks. I think he had the NFL record for – he had the most sacks that year. I know that from a quarterback standpoint. 63 was the exact number. I don't know if it's the most in NFL history, though. Wouldn't be surprised if it was, how bad that offensive line was. For Bryce, it all starts with the protection up front. He still doesn't have that many snaps under center, right? Yeah. I'm not too worried about the offensive line. I think Damian Lewis, whatever his issue is, they say it's an injury, but it's right now it's an unknown injury. We don't know anything. I got your question. I did get your question. Evero is not even under contract next year, I thought. Regardless, AC Carter can run the defense. Yeah, we have our replacement in-house already. Most likely for defensive coordinator. Yeah, I think AC Carter would be awesome. I think he'd be a perfect fit. I would love to see Evero fired. Me too. Because he doesn't make the correct adjustments and he's too stubborn and he runs a complex 3-4 scheme. And another thing is, it makes no sense to me why he continues. If he continues to keep J.C. Horn on one side of the field and not with the best wide receiver of the opposing team, I'm going to lose my shit this year. EJ needs to make his adjustments in the preseason. I don't need to take this defense into regular season at all, Clay. Yep, I feel you. When can they pick up waiver wires? I think they can pick up waiver wires right now, whenever, if I'm not mistaken. Let me look. When can NFL teams pick up waiver wire players? I think it's right now, but it might not be until the end of preseason. Okay, so in the NFL, waiver wire claims are processed shortly after the conclusion of the week's games, typically between 3 a.m. and 5 a.m. on Tuesday morning. So this applies to players who were either dropped by a team or newly signed free agents. Teams can submit waiver wire claims under 24 hours period after a player is placed on waivers. If no team claims a player during the waiver wire period, they become a free agent and they can pick up the first come, first serve basis. So players who are, so basically, this is how the waiver wire process works. Players who are dropped from a team or become free agents after being unsigned on and placed waivers. Teams can submit claims for players during a set period, typically 24 hours. If multiple teams place a claim on the same player, the team with the highest waiver priority, okay, gets the player. So that's how it works. So they can do it right now. Shout out to Vietnam with that members for 13 months. What's good, Clay? Coker should be number 2. not XL. It's starting to look that way. I can't disagree with you right now, Vietnam. I just said it. Even though I had a hot take that I still think I still think XL could be one of those players that breaks out. It just doesn't help when you get ejected. So, shout out to Flame Vietnam member for 13 months. Doug, I'm aware of that. I'm talking about from an Evero standpoint. This has nothing to do with the week season preview or the week season 1, bro. That's not what I'm talking about. I'm talking about Ejiro Evero in the season, making the adjustments, the play calling. That's what I'm talking about. We were talking about Evero on the hot seat, not necessarily this. We weren't talking about the week season 1 or not talking about the game against the Browns. We were talking about, that's what I was getting at, not this game. Not this game. But I did know that Cooley was called plays for the week 1 of preseason. But I still think AC Carter would be a better fit than Cooley myself, if it ends up being that way. That's what I'm saying, Doug. Let's see what he does September 7th. Exactly. I need to see what EJ does September 7th. We'll go from there. Really to see, I'd like to see Mello Dotson get some burn as well. All right, I was high on him coming out of Kansas, him and Kobe Bryant. So I'd love to see that. Our coaching staff as a whole is too soft and positive. Everything is rainbows and sunshine. We kept 7 for a few hours last year, but that was just a high Coker. Cut him after the team did most of the waiver claims. Shit was smart. Yes, it was. David Carr had 76 sacks. Bryce, oh shit, 62. So David Carr has the record. I didn't think he had the record. Bates needs a better position. Bates need a better position at coach as well. He was great team energy for sure. Rex Ryan for DC next year. He brings killer mentality. I mean, listen, we'll see. I don't think Rex Ryan would ever want to come here and coach, but I don't know. But I like where your head's at, Joshua. From a coaching and mentality standpoint, I get what you're saying, Joshua. I get it. How high are we on waiver wires? We've got to be pretty far up there. It's based off of where we were standing wise in the NFC. So we've got to be up there. I'm pretty sure it's based off of standing wise we were in the NFC or maybe in the league. I have to see. Let me look that up again. So once free agency, where is it? Okay, it's based off of highest waiver priority. So basically, if multiple teams place a claim on the same player, the team with the lowest win percentage. So whatever the lowest win percentage, it's based off the NFL, not your conference. Joshua, okay, you told me Joshua. Coker looks better than XL, even going back to last season. I'm happy to see Bryce is more confident, ready for the season. As for the defensive scoring, should definitely be starting. Yeah, DJ Wanham look invisible, and Princely even look better than Wanham. So Wanham might be out. Coker hands are certified. He definitely catch even with the defenders on him. He's the true best undrafted wide receiver we picked up so far, Clay, for sure. We should call Justin Simmons as soon as possible. I've heard that. I mean, there was talks, but again, there has yet to be, there was never a contract made nor signed. Coker is so excellent. I agree in having Coker wide receiver too, if possible, especially if XL got suspended or injured. Well, he didn't get injured. He's probably not going to get suspended. They ejected him from the game, so we'll see. I want us to go back to the 4-3. That's just me, though. I think everybody else does, Palmetto Panther. I don't think there's a Panthers fan out there that doesn't want to go back to that. Justin Simmons would be nice to have if possible. Yeah, it would. As long as again, it would come down to the right price. And from both sides. You know what I mean? What makes sense? I think his market value is like around, I think I saw it the other day. It was like 14 million. I could be wrong. No, it's like 7. There's somebody else I was looking at. It was like 14 million. His market value is actually, now it's gone lower. It's 5.8. 1 year, $5.8 million deal. That's based off of Spot Track. They're saying that his market value is around 5.8 million. Just to share that with you guys, so you don't think I'm lying. That's where his market value is at as of right now. 4-3 defense would be nice too. Yeah, absolutely. Same as draft, right? Cole, I missed that comment before this question, so I'm not sure. On a happy now, I'm waiting to get my new Panthers jersey real soon. That's awesome, man. Which one did you get? I'm liking the chat. I'm liking the chat's comments, Clay, for sure. They are the chat always goes off, Doug. They go off, that's for sure. And I try to get to each and every one of their comments. That's for sure. What happened to the Atlanta player Friday that was taken off by the ambulance, Clay? If you know, I think he had a head and neck injury. He had to be carted off the field. It was pretty scary, but come to find out, he is okay. I don't know the full extent of his injury, but he is okay. He did an Instagram post, apparently from the hospital, and said, things are all good and that he's going to be okay. So I think his name was Maurice something. I can't think of his name, but he's all good. We have $20 million cap space, I think. So we can do a lot of work with this. Possibly. I mean, again, there was talks. Yeah, guys, if you haven't checked out Doug's channel, he was live today with Gabe McDonald, I think of the Queen City News, if I'm not mistaken. Great interview, great breakdown of the preseason game, and looking forward to Houston. So, guys, go check it out if you haven't already. All right. Shout out to Vietnam with that $4.99 donation. He comes in and says that 4-3 would be that 4-3 would be love, but I don't think we have the personnel for it right now. We drafted players for this shit system over the last 3 years. Honestly, I think a 4-3 would be better than what we're running right now, Vietnam, with the current players we have. I truly believe that, but it is what it is, man. Waiver claim position, similar draft position. Maybe. So we might, I know we're not the top one, but maybe. I think we might be the 8th waiver claim. Maybe. You might be right on that, T-Cole. I'm not sure. That's good as far as the jersey. That's good. As far as the jersey, it'll be blue. I have the number 47, my last name. Oh, that's sick. Facts. We literally lost Frankie Louvu because of this weak ass. Yeah, oh, for sure. He wanted to go play with someone with a real defensive mind. Tuttle needs to go. Rather give Cam Jackson and reps at nose tackle. Tuttle's not a fit for that 3-4. Yeah, I think Tuttle's. We could also say that Tuttle's been used wrong. We could say that Tuttle's been used wrong, but again, there, and that could be part of the lack of production, but at the same time, he was clarified when we brought him here that he could play the 3, the 5, the 1. So it is what it is. Simmons would be nice for 5.5-ish. Yeah, so he's still available, but I know when the Bears had the number 1 pick, we still had number 1. Yeah, I'm not sure how that really works. Wonder if I can look it up. Yeah, he does, Domo. Well, another thing is too, shout out to Cody of the C3. He tweeted out, why does Ejiro Evero continue to drop back our edge rushers into coverage? Why does our pass rushers on certain plays keep dropping back into coverage? It makes no sense. So there's a lot of questions for Ejiro Evero. He's going to have to answer a lot this year. He's going to have to answer a lot. Yeah. I'm also in addition to my new Panthers. We'll see what happens next. I'm hilarious. Jarvis, I'm just waiting. I'm just waiting to get waiting for the Panthers to finally put out some white jerseys to buy, because I want a white jersey. I literally just want a white jersey. That's all I want. I want to play it. I want to. There's not really even a certain player I want. I just want white jerseys to buy. That's it. Can't get one. Horrible scheme. Yes, sir. T. Cole melting in his chair right now. That's what I take from that emoji. Anyways, guys, I'm going to hop off of here. It's dinner time. All right. My family, my 2 girls are waiting on me. Dinner's ready. It's time to go eat. All right. Appreciate everyone joining the live stream. I will have some shorts coming out to you tonight. All right. So make sure you tune into that. Okay. So make sure you guys tune into the shorts as well. Again, I appreciate everyone joining the live stream. Make sure you pound that like button, hit that subscribe button if you haven't already. Make sure you click that post notifications bell so you don't miss any new content. Of course, become a member today. Again, if we get this live goal, there's a live goal going on here every single day at the Roppstar Report, and all it is 100 likes. We reach 100 likes, I'll do a giveaway. Whether that's a jersey, whether that's a hat, whether that's tickets, whether that's Madden giveaway. Or whether it's NCAA. Maybe some of you guys want the new NCAA game. I don't know. We'll come up with something. But make sure you guys pound that like button. That's really all I ask. Appreciate all the love and support as always. I will see you guys tomorrow. We'll be breaking down training camp. Of course, it'll be like day 13 or 15, whatever it is. But we'll be breaking that down tomorrow. So other than that, guys, as always, see y'all tomorrow. Y'all know what to do. Keep pounding. Peace.